Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly-Beth and this is my little place where I get to talk about anything to do with knitting or crafting or yarn. There are very big topics over here. Right now, I realise that I've not really had a chance to do sort of like an intro for the project that I'm starting, or I've started next, and that is my porcelain sweater. I would like to do another project vlog. I think these are really interesting to watch. It's really interesting to see what you end up doing over that time where you're making it, and it's a bit more in depth. I think I am still in Norway with my fiance. I go home in I think 3 days time from now, and I'm not looking forward to it overall per se. I have cast on and I have knit this much, just this. This is the first part of the pattern. This is the back, the top back, so you knit from the top down. It is a colour work sweater and it's usually knit in blue and white, and that's why it's called the porcelain sweater, because it's like reminiscent of those porcelain patterned plates and tableware. I didn't want to do that. One, because I didn't think blue would suit me. Also, I had bought yarn for it in different colours and I decided I didn't actually want to use that yarn. I ended up stumbling on this yarn. The yarn that I am using for this is a bit of a mixture, but overall, as usual, it's mainly drops because it's so affordable. So I'm using Drops Flora for the main colour and Drops Kid Silk also for the main colour. This, I want to say, was in like cloud fog, or it was some white fog, I'm not sure. I thought it was going to be a little more warm. It's a bit of a cool tone, well, white, but it looks grey. I've been a bit concerned about that, but I think it's going to be okay. It's colour 22 and then I'm pairing it with like an off-white, and that's in colour 1. Those two together are making this colour here, and I think it looks really lovely. I'm really happy that this is warming this colour up a bit. I was a bit worried that it was going to be a bit too cool toned. So that's my main colour, and then as for my contrast colours, because I can't just choose one colour apparently, I'm doing a mixture of 4 different pinks. I am not entirely sure what way around I am going to like do the actual chart. I just know that I wanted to have 4 different pinks and then I could like ombre it basically. So I picked these ones. I wanted to go for something really light, kind of a bit more not so in your face. I want to say dull, but it's not dull, it's a really pretty pink. Something a bit darker, edging more towards like a plum, and then a bright one. So that's my 4 pinks. This one is Drops Flora, the same as the main colour, and these 3 are all Fable. Yeah, Drops Fable. So I kind of wanted like a gradual colour change. So these are the mohairs that I am pairing with them. I think it's gonna look quite nice. These are a mixture of different mohair, so I will go through them now as I put them next to the colour they're going with. And hopefully that'll help me decide whether I made a good choice. Flora, Drops Flora, is a mixture between alpaca and wool, so it's 65% wool, 35% alpaca. The Drops mohair, a mixture between mohair and silk. It is 75% mohair and 25% silk, just for the contents. We may as well stick with Flora. So this is my bright pink. With this, I tried to find the brightest pink mohair I could, and this is kind of what fit the bill. It's the same thing, 65% wool, 35% alpaca. This is Angel by Permin. This is 70% mohair, 30% silk. So it's going to be very similar amounts as we go. There's those two, and I think they're going to look very lovely together. This Flora is colour 28. This Angel by Permin is colour 884135, and it's like a neon pink. Going from possibly dark to light, I guess. We've got these two that are going to go together. Quite difficult to find a colour that would match this yarn, not gonna lie, but I think it works. It's gonna be a bit bright with this, but I think them together is gonna be okay. Drops Fable is a sock yarn, so it's 75% wool, 25% polyamide, but it's basically the same in meterage to the Drops Flora, which is why I thought that I could do it. It's the same gauge, and it's 210 meters per 50 grams and 205 meters per 50 grams, so I thought that they could be interchangeable. Different content, so the drape would be different, but I think because the pink is going to be just the little contrast sections, I think it's going to be okay. And with these two, the Fable is colour 109, and then this mohair is from Hjertegarn. It's from Denmark, same contents, just different amounts. So 72% mohair, 28% silk, and this is really soft. So those two are going to go together. Next in line is these two. I'm very happy with this colour match. I think it's going to be really cool. Again, Drops Fable, so it's the same composition as before, and it is color 102. And then this is Mayflower Super Kid Silk. I used this mohair on my anemone sweater, and it is, I think, honestly the nicest mohair apart from Knitting for Olive I've tried. It's definitely not super cheap, but when you're buying one here, one there, it's not so bad. This color is color 61, and it is absolutely lovely. 76% kid mohair and 24% silk. I think they are going to be really lovely together. And then the lightest pinks, these two here, they're the exact same as before with the other two, which is Drops Fable and Mayflower Super Kid Silk. This light pink is colour 120, light pink in the Mayflower is colour 15. And those two, again, I am very happy with how they are going to mix. That's my yarn. This is the start of my porcelain sweater. I will try and record what I do to try and test what way round I want them. There is 2 people on Ravelry that have put up very similar concepts to what I was thinking of doing, and I'm using their Ravelry projects, thank you very much, as inspiration and as my markers. Yeah, I think this is going to be really cute. It's going to be a bit different. I don't usually wear pink, but I did fall in love with this pink, so that might be why. But yeah, so this is my 17th of May project. I don't necessarily have a very specific deadline for this. I just specifically wanted to cast it on that weekend. I think from memory as well, I am knitting the 4th size. This is my intro. I hope you'll want to join me for the porcelain sweater project. This is what we're going to be knitting in this duration of the video, so yeah. I just wanted to pop in and do a little mini update on my porcelain. It's not much. It really isn't much. At a point where I am about to start doing colour work, and I am not ready to work out what way around I want to do that yet. So this is going to go on hold, but for now, this is how far I have got with the back. And it's looking really nice. I really like the colour that it is making. I've double checked my gauge as well, just to check that it's definitely still the same as my swatch, and it's looking like it is at the moment, which doesn't really surprise me because it is back and forth, a bit like the swatch. So I'm quite excited about this jumper, but there is a lot of other things that I need and want to do before I can sit down and work out what way around I want the colour work colours. I'm gonna do a bit of working out on how I want that actually to go, but for now this is where I'm at. It is not a huge amount, but I wanted to get it to the point where it's ready for the next section, so that when I am ready to work on it, it's there, it's ready to go. The next step is doing that colour work. I think that for now it can chill in here, which is this bag that I got from Samsøe from Bella Yarns. I have 2 of her bags. I love them. I get one every year. It will be a tradition again this year because I think they are going again this year. Yeah. That's all the progress. I'll see you in a little bit when I come back to this for this project vlog. Okay, hello. Kind of wild. I am now at a point where I might actually be able to start working on the porcelain sweater. Very exciting. I would quite like to have this as a main project throughout August. That's what I'd like anyway. This is a reminder, this is how far I am on it. And the issue I'm at the point where you start the colour work. I didn't want to make the standard blue and white porcelain colours because I didn't think it would look okay on me, and that's alright. I do plan on making one like that in the future, but not for me. I do, however, have a whole bunch of paint that I bought for this. Obviously I've already run through this with you. The issue I have right now, I'm at a point where I'm starting the first colour work band, and I need to make a decision as to how I am having my yarn, what order they are going in, which is actually surprisingly quite difficult. It has put me off working on it, aside from the fact that I've also had loads of other projects. I feel like I'm at a point now where I just need to do it. I was thinking that tonight-ish, quite late, I don't know how much I'm going to do. I was going to make a swatch, possibly of every style that I'm thinking of. I'll just do the chart and see what I think. It's also going to give me an opportunity to see how these mohairs are going to cooperate with these pinks as well. With this colour, I don't know how it's going to look, and I wish this was a bit more pink. Some people have done it. They've done like some pinks, but also like a really dark, like almost like a red. And there's been a recent new one as well on there, and it looks really nice. But I don't don't know if I want to do that, to be honest. What if I do like stripes? And then again, I was like, I don't know. And now I'm thinking, what about if I do like a striped ombre? But then do I want it to go from like, because it's like bands, but do I want it to go from dark to light, or light to dark in the middle? Do I want to do it so I have like the bright color in the middle? I don't know what I want to do, and I feel like I'm going to waste a bunch of time doing this. Yeah, I think I just want to maybe swatch all the different options. And then there's 3 different charts as well, so it's like it's gonna look different for every chart. So I feel like I need to take a few days now to do some swatching more for the colors. I can work out what I want where. If I could finish July with a plan, that would be really cool, so I can just go straight into August with my plan. Hello, it has been a bit of a hot minute since I've done a check-in for this particular project. Just as a reminder, just because I've had a bit of progress on this end in regards to this sweater, and I wanted to give my little check-in for it because I think it's really exciting. As just a reminder, this is where I am at with my jumper. It is still no further. This is just the top of the back panel, so it's literally still at the start. But what I have done in here is all of the yarns that I'm using color-wise anyway for this sweater. Because I'm not doing it in the traditional way of the blue and white, but also just the 2 colors, so a main color and a contrast, I'm doing it in 4 contrast colors and the main color, so 5 colors in total. I was feeling a little bit like I couldn't proceed until I worked out what colors I wanted where. So I'm going to show you what the last half week has consisted of. This is how we are looking when I first tried it. I have like a really light pink that's down here. I have like kind of dusty pink, I have a darker pink, and I have like a neon, more bright pink. You can really see the difference here. There's 3 different charts in this pattern, and I was trying to do each and every one just in case there was a different color scheme that I liked better on. I didn't want to commit to just doing one and then being like, oh, I don't like it. And because I'm using so many different colors, I just don't want to keep frogging this yarn. So I thought actually it's smarter to do swatches, see how I feel. Obviously it's going to look a lot different in a big garment, but this is what we are going with. So this was my plan, and I did 3 neon here. I did it even with just like the 1. I also tried it where I split this bit up, so instead of it being all of the dusty pink, I split it up with a pink, which I do like, but I think I like this one more. I also tried it with more of the neon, so it's the other way around, and I definitely still preferred this one. So that's what I did. I did like a final swatch, but this was just so I could see how the colors were working up. I did try to do like a color picker online and also on Paint, but it was taking so long, and I was getting a bit frustrated because the colors weren't exact. So I was just, you know what, I'm just going to knit it. It's a week max of swatching. It's absolutely fine. I had come to the conclusion that this is how my first colourwork chart is going to look. I also give an honorary mention to my fiance as well, because he's had a huge input as to how these colours are going. I wasn't sure about some of them, and I asked for advice. He was so helpful. Just kind of like, it was nice to get like an outside point of view when it comes to what colours he thought would look best. So this is what we came up with. So this is what I'm doing for the first, because I kind of wanted it to be almost like a fade, like a faded ombre, kind of from light to dark. I feel like we got that really nicely there. This was the second motif. I did a few different things here as well. So I did the light pink, I did the dusty, and then the dark, and like that. I think the one I'm actually going to go with is changing the chart slightly. So the chart has the white stripe in the middle. I'm actually going to move the white stripe and swap it with the dark stripe here, because I feel like it matches the other band better. So that was that one, the second one. This is the third and final one. Same thing again. I went for the light pink, a dusty pink stripe, dark, and then it switched to like the neon in the middle, and then vice versa. I did the same thing for this one, and I also brought the dark one up to here, and I also like this better. So I basically have, particularly as well, if I show you them side by side, so they're a little bit bunched up, but hopefully you can see these are all the swatches I did side by side. I just really like how all of the edges look the same, almost like with the same idea. So this is what we're going with. I can't believe I finally got the colors down and I know what I'm doing. I think this is really cool. I'm really excited. I didn't want to do any more swatching because quite frankly I've already used up a lot of the pinks and I only have one skein of each of the main skein and then each of the mohairs, because I learned that from my Lene sweater that I just don't need that much contrast yarn, and I really hope that's going to be the case for this one and I'm not going to look like a fool. Yeah, but I'm mega excited. So once August hits, which is tomorrow, I will be recording my plans and I'll sort of show these very quickly, sort of say, hey, so this is going to be the project for this month and we're going to get it done. That's my update, and it's a big, even though it's not a progress update per se, to me it's a very big update because I now have my colour, like my colour orders, and I am excited. I am very excited. So I will check in soon when I actually start the colourwork band. Hello, I have just finished the first colourwork chart and it looks like this. So my tension's not great up here, but I think the rest of it actually looks kind of good. Maybe. I'm now working a bunch of stockinette. Once the stockinette's done, I will be finished with the back, which is really cool. That's how it looks so far. I'm gonna crack on with the stockinette now. Would have shown quite a bit last night, but the problem with doing the videos at night is that the lighting isn't very good, and if I'm honest, it's not fantastic today. It's extremely, I don't even know if I can say overcast, like it's on and off raining today, so it's a bit dark outside, but it is a bit more natural light, so I thought I would show a progress update for this sweater specifically as well. Yesterday I had a very, very good knitting day, and this is where my porcelain is at now. The whole back piece is done. I have finished one shoulder, picked up for the second shoulder. I haven't done anything else on this because I didn't want to stop knitting halfway through doing short rows. I don't like doing that. I like to know where I am in a pattern, so when I come back, I'm not in the middle of a short row. I will find that too complicated and too stressful to pick that back up a little bit. But yeah, it's looking real cute. Just very happy with it. I'm happy with how the colour work is looking. But that's my little update. This is where I'm at. I am very close to finishing the main strand and the mohair in the main colour. I'm kind of getting low on the mohair as of right now. The mohair is getting a little bit thin. There's still a lot on here, but I'm definitely noticing it, and then also my flora. So I might be onto the new ball. I mean, I'd love to get through the next shoulder without it, and I think I will now. It might be during like the next colour, like the front colourwork band, I might have to change skeins, which is a bit frustrating, but to be fair, you have to cut the yarn anyway. My little update for the porcelain. Very cool.
yesterday I got a little bit done on my porcelain sweater and I wanted to show you what I'd done. Notice anything different? I did indeed attach the shoulders together. I have the back and the front connected now. I'm now at a point where I need to start the colourwork band again, so the same band on the back. When I'm doing these colourwork bands, I really want to make sure that I'm doing them at a time that I have the mental space for it, because I don't want to do it wrong. You can tell, but it is getting a little bit see-through, and also the mohair as well getting quite thin. So that's how far our first two main colours have lasted us so far. Yeah, I just wanted to give a little update that I've connected the shoulders into one front panel. So yeah, that's it.
I have just put my porcelain in the round and I can't believe it, and I'm so happy that that's the case.
Hello, it is mid-month. This is how far we are. I'm not too far off of finishing the last band of this colourwork bit on the body, which is actually the last colourwork chart on the body. And then I got to do the stockinette and then the ribbing. Probably knit until I run out of these colours. But these also might lead me to the end, honestly, so I don't know. I usually like to stop around here, do my arms and then come back. Obviously I have the neck. This part was interesting. I followed her suggestion of the technique in the pattern. As much as I am comfortable doing certain things, I think it's sometimes a good thing to try the other thing that's in the pattern to broaden your skill set. That's how far I'm at with this. And it's a funny thing as well. Me and my sister-in-law are knitting this at the same time. Obviously, I've been knitting mine since the 17th of May. She's also knitting her version. She's doing the traditional blue and white and it looks so nice. It's going to be so nice. It's beautiful. So we had a little moment where we were just knitting together on our porcelain sweaters. So it was really cool. I'm really excited. It's kind of sweet that we maybe might end up having, essentially, we might end up wearing the same jumper on the same day, kind of matching jumper sweaters. Right now though, that's where I'm at. I am going to probably get the rest of this colour work done so I can just crack on with stockinette. I'm not necessarily behind with my schedule, but I maybe thought I'd be a bit further along by now, but that's okay. I'm very excited about this one, and I know it's a different designer, but if it fits anything like what this one does, I'm gonna love this jumper so much. That's my little check-in. That's where I'm at.
Okay, so here is how she is looking. I think it looks so pretty. The issue I'm having is that I have just cracked into my third to last. I have 2 more new balls after this and I haven't even done the sleeves. I'm feeling a little bit nervous about that. I still have this much of the mohair. I keep knitting this because I keep thinking I'm getting really close to finishing the ribbing, but it's like 7 to 8 centimeters. And I mean, honestly, that's probably not far off now. I keep thinking that and then I'm measuring it and I'm like, oh, I'm actually really far off. I think what I am going to do though is I'm going to stop here and just kind of deal with having this there. If I can avoid putting more rows into the ribbing that might save me the sleeves, then I feel like I'd rather do that, because I'd obviously rather have enough yarn for the sleeves, and if I have to buy new yarn, I can use it on the very last bit of the bottom ribbing. I'm probably fine, but I'm just a bit conscious that maybe yarn chicken is poking around the corner. I think I'm going to pivot. I'm going to stop the ribbon here, put the stoppers on, and just ignore the ribbing for the rest of the duration for now, and try and get the sleeves done. It does mean as well I'll be able to get all my colour work done as well, which would be nice. So let's hope I have enough. Surely a sleeve won't take more than 1 skein. I say this every time and then I end up using like a skein and a half on the sleeve, but that's without colour work, so I don't know, we'll see. That's my little update though. This is how it's looking. Oh, it looks so good. Eee. So I wasn't going to do all that much talking today. Let me move this camera out of the way. This is my second sleeve. I've just realised, I just had the realisation that's the last time I'm using these colours. Like, it's done. And that's really cool. So as of now, I am now finished with the Drops Flora in the colour 28 and also the Angel Bird Permin in the colour 884135. Finished my first set of colours and I'm determined to finish this sweater today. Let's hope I can do it. Hello, it's been a long time actually, I think, since I updated you, and as you can see, it's done. So I thought I would do the outro now for this sweater and kind of wrap this up because this has been going on for way too many months. So this is of course the Porcelain Sweater. It is a pattern by LeKnit or Lene Holme Samsøe, and it is available on Ravelry. I don't know if it's available anywhere else, possibly her website. I think she has a website, I'm not sure. It is a very, very, very popular pattern. A lot of people have made this or are in the process of making it, and rightly so. It is a beautiful pattern. It looks lovely. It's fun to do. The one thing that isn't super fun is just the instructions. I agree with a lot of people on Ravelry and online that talk about just the instructions being not perfectly clear at times. And I think that they could be perfected in a way that made it more clear to understand. This includes areas like how to do the decreases in the arms, particularly honestly the arm instructions. And I think I did also write in my Ravelry Project post, I just wish there was a bit more information about exactly how to do the neck, because she has a video but it doesn't exactly say how to do the parts where the stitches are going down the side, because it's not that you pick up where the cast on is, you pick up just underneath and it gives you a stretchier neckline. It gives you a stretchier neckline, which I do agree, it gives a really lovely neckline. It was just kind of guesswork sometimes. So I agree with the comments that the pattern could be a little bit more simplified, more specific, and exactly how to do it. I feel like there's a lot of words, I feel like there's a lot of text, but not exactly maybe what you need. But I think this is also down to a possible thing with me as well, where I remember seeing someone say recently that, I genuinely can't remember who it was, but I've watched a video about how patterns aren't really made for the literal thinker sometimes, and I agree. I think it's quite a good point to make, but I mean, I still made it, so it's fine. Not that I would usually, recommend colour work to someone new or a beginner anyway, but as far as the pattern goes for explaining, definitely not a beginner at all, in my opinion. It might be for other people, but not for me. Following on from that, so what I did, because I just couldn't work out the arm decreases as to how she wants you to decrease in the pattern, and I was probably trying to work it out for about an hour. And in the end, I was just then also scrolling on Ravelry for an hour looking at people's projects, and no one as far back as I went had really said exactly, like, simplified how to do the decrease in the arms more down, or down more. So I had found a post, again, I can't remember the Ravelry name, but I will put a link in the description as to what project I use. I think I can try and link it in my project as well, which I'm going to do. And she had linked to a few other projects as well that had done something a bit differently, and I had done the same thing as them. Basically, I changed the decreases to a SSK and a knit two together, kind of in the similar area to where the stitches would usually decrease on a sleeve. I don't think it disrupted the pattern too much, particularly not on this one. I feel like it looks still okay. But yeah, that's basically. Oh no, I did actually make a really big change actually. The second motif, let's get up a little bit. The second motif I changed, I think it's the second one. Yeah, there is supposed to be a white line in between these two, but I decided to not do that and switch where that line was so it was next to the line closer to the border, because then it would match the rest of the others I'd done, where I'd done like light and then dark and then white and then light and dark and then white, and then again light and dark and then white. So I changed the chart slightly in that sense, but it was literally just moving one of the colour contrast rows to a white row and then vice versa. I think it looks a lot more put together. I just didn't like how it looked with the line going across it. Somewhere I have a swatch, I'll see if I can find it. Okay, I found said swatch, and this is how it was supposed to look, how it would have looked in my colours anyway, and I just didn't like it, so I changed it so instead of it having the colour work line there, it's just a bit higher up or lower, vice versa, however, what part you're on. I'm really happy with that change that I did. I'm really glad, and I think it looks really good. I would definitely do that again if I was to make a jumper like this in these colours. I do plan on making another porcelain that's going to be in the blue and the white, not for me, but I think I may follow the chart as it should be for that one, because it's only two colours, so I feel like it's a little bit less noticeable when there's just a random line and those other charts don't really match. Overall though, I'm really happy with this. This has been a bit of a labour of love actually. I didn't expect it to be so full on, considering I made my anemone sweater, my other colourwork sweater this year. I think I made it in like 3 months, whereas this has taken quite a long time. This has taken since May, so it's like 5 months. I can't maths. Yeah, about 5 months. We're probably coming up to 6 months soon. The only thing that I just wish I hit gauge and I made the size that would mean that it wasn't quite so oversized on me. And I did the same thing for my storm sweater, and that's what I followed in regards to the positive ease amount. That's kind of where I went with it, because I wanted it to fit pretty much exactly like my storm sweater. My storm sweater has become like my favorite thing I've ever made in regards to how it fits. I followed the positive ease for that, and I thought the XL was actually too big, so I went for the size large, which was size 4. I thought that would give me the same amount, but even though I've hit gauge, it's still actually quite tight. I like how the fabric bunches up here. It's just not quite got the exact positive ease I was looking for, and the arms are actually quite tight, I think. They ended up quite long, which is to be expected. I expect my sleeves to grow. I also wasn't expecting this to be so short. My waist is here, so it's not too bad, and with high-waisted things it will be fine, but I thought it was going to be a bit longer, like in length. I don't know, I think that's why like in my Ravelry I didn't put like a really happy face, because I was just a bit surprised that it ended up quite a lot shorter than I expected or had planned for. But overall, it's a really lovely pattern. I think my colourwork has blocked out quite nicely. There's still a few areas where I'm like, oh, you can see it. Overall, I'm really happy with it. I think, and I'm kind of hoping that over time it will relax and maybe grow a bit more in the areas that I kind of want it to grow. Another change that I did was adding colours onto the end. It was really difficult to work out which one to do because I used 4 different contrast colours, but I figured that the dark one was kind of like the main in this jumper, so I went for the dark ones. I did the same as Lene from Norwegian Knitter, and I don't know if she did the exact same way, but my sister-in-law was also knitting this, and she sped through hers, and she also did the blue edges. So I hadn't planned on doing the edges. I didn't think it was going to be for me. I felt like it would make it more boxy, at least for me, like on my body. But actually, once I had finished, like getting to finishing the sleeves and stuff, I do agree that it feels like it's missing something. So I eventually obviously opted for it. But the yarn though, so I used a bunch of different yarns. This is all of the yarn that I have left from just this sweater alone. That's included in the main colour as well. So as far as the main colour goes, I know why I do it, because it makes things seem like it's going a little bit easier and I can manage my yarn better, but I ended up with so many different open balls this time, which is really quite annoying. So just to go through some yarn totals as well, and also what I used, because I kept kind of saying, well, I'm working on it on my project vlog, so I'll proper go through it now as to what the colours and everything are and how much I used. So main colour, I use this Drops Flora here. It's in the colour 22. I think it's called White Fog. I did write this down, hang on. White Fog. So left, I bought 6 skeins, and left of these I have 49 grams left of this. I don't know which one's which, but 11 grams of one of these and 14 grams of these. So overall I have 74 grams left, meaning that I use 226 grams of this main Flora colour. The main colour in the Kid Silk, or the mohair, I use Drops Kid Silk. It's in the colour 01. I think it's the colour Off-White, I think. So I had never even opened this ball. So I have one new, and then I have this one and this one. Again, I'm not really sure exactly which one's which. I think this one's got 8 grams in, this one's got 9 grams. It's fine. So I also bought 6 skeins of this originally, and I used in total 108 grams. So there's just under 2 skeins left, which actually is quite good. And you can really tell as well, like when I'm picking this jumper up, I can't get over how light it is and how like thin it is. It's a really lovely fabric this is made. Really lovely fabric. Really lovely. So onto the contrast colours. Let's go through these first, because we'll just go lightest to kind of like I did, so like lightest to the neon. As I said, I did 4 contrast colours. I did them in like an ombre kind of look. So I started with the light one, then went to the second lightest one, then I went to the darkest one, and then to the most neon.
So that's what I did. The lightest pink, I used Drops Fable. I pretty much used Drops Fable or Drops Flora for the main colours. The mohair changed, but Drops was the main one for this one. The colour is 120, and I don't, the actual names of the colours I just can't remember because it was like pink, baby pink, off pink. It's just, yeah. I have covered my notebook. I'm smart. And I used 38 grams of, no I don't, I have 38 grams left, meaning that I used 12 grams of this colour. I paired this with the mohair from Mayflower, the Super Kid Silk. I first found this yarn when it came to making my anemone sweater. I had got the Mayflower, honestly, for the colours. It was the colour match that I wanted that made me buy it originally for that sweater. I really love this. It's not the cheapest, but it's also not quite like Sanders Garn tin silk mohair price either. Also, where I bought it from Linda Hobby, which is a shop that ships from Denmark. They have a lot of like little deals where when you buy so many you get a slight discount, so it's actually not too bad, but it's a lovely mohair. Yeah, I like this a lot. Obviously originally 25 grams. These I've noticed have kind of always come more than 25 grams, but like I said I was supposed to, I don't think I measured these before, like I weighed these before I actually started, so I don't actually have maybe exact figures. I probably used a little bit more yarn than I actually have. I'm just going off of what I have left as to roughly probably how much yarn I used, but skeins are usually not always bang on the amount, 25, 50 grams, 100 grams. They're usually a little bit over, whether it's by 1 or 3 or 4. That tends to be how it goes. Either way, I still have 20 grams of this, although it doesn't really look like it, but 20 grams, which means I used 5 grams of this one. It's the colour 15. Nope, I don't remember the colour name. It was something quite cool though, I think, off the top of my head. Quite a cool name, I think. So I used 5 grams of this one. The next colour in line is going to be these two. It's also Drops Fable and Mayflower Super Kid Silk. Again, I love both of these yarns. They're really good. We'll start off with the Drops Fable. The Drops Fable is in the colour 102. I think this one is actually just called pink, but I might be wrong. I'm not 100%. I still have 34 grams of this, meaning that I used 16 grams of this one, and I paired it with the Mayflower. I was really happy with this combination. They look really good, I think. Of the Super Kid Silk from Mayflower, this was the colour 61. I'm pretty sure this one was called Heather, I think. And I still have 21 grams of this, meaning that I used only 4 grams of that. So here we are again, having loads of yarn left over, but that's okay. So I've just realised Royal Mail are on the way and I am actually waiting for a parcel, so I may have to skedaddle in a second. Next I used these two colours together. This is the one I have the least of out of all the contrast because I used it the most. It's also the one that I decided to make the main contrast colour, and these two together made a really lovely colour. So yet again I used Drops Fable. This is in the colour 109, and I only have 18 grams left of this, meaning that I used 32 grams of this one here, which is pretty good. You can definitely tell that's the case. The one thing about this yarn, I did notice that on the outside there's kind of like something that's not really probably supposed to be spun in there. Just something to keep in mind. I don't really tend to have any issues with drops yarns for that reason. But it's something to mention since I'm doing a little mini review on the yarns that I've used. 32 grams of this one, and I paired it with this yarn here. I hadn't used this one before. This is Hjertegarn Silk Kid Mohair. Yeah, I'm reading my notebook, but I don't know if it's right. I currently have 10 grams left of this, and which would mean that I used 15 grams for the sweater. This was also a really lovely mohair. I am really happy with it. I really liked the label, just how easy the label was to take out, and yeah, I'm really happy about that. And the colour was really lovely as well. It's kind of a bit brighter on camera than what it probably is. Oh no, actually no, it is quite bright. Not quite neon, not quite like this neon, but it's like a dark bright. But yeah, really lovely. Also from Linda Hobby, really great yarn. That one, I think I was really struggling to find a colour match for that Drops Fable, so I was really happy to find that one, which is why that one was random. Same thing with the next one. I used these two yarns for the bright colour. This is what I use the least of as you can imagine, because I think I did 3 rows on every single one. On every single contrast, I only did 3 rows of the neon in the middle. So main yarn, Drops Flora, just as I've been saying. This one is in the colour 28. It's just a very, very bright pink, lovely colour, neon. I still have 45 grams of this, so I only used about 5 grams for the neon colour in this sweater, which could be quite interesting. I don't know to know, maybe you don't care, maybe you do. Because I only did 3 rows of the neon pink, I did the size large, so the 4th size in, 3 rows of the neon pink on every single contrast chart. What's that? 3, 6, 9 rounds on the body was this, and then also 6 rounds on the sleeves each was this. So in total, so 6 rounds, 12 rounds on the sleeves and 9 rounds on the body. That doesn't make sense. Even though you knit the top bit back and forth, I'm still casting it as a round. I feel like I was being really smart there, but I actually don't think I executed that very well. That's how little. If you're interested in that, you'll know what I mean. If not, then you can just ignore what I just said. But yeah, I only used 5 grams of this one. And then as for the mohair, this is the Angel by Permin. All of these are some form of mohair and silk blend. They vary as to what they are, but this is a lovely neon pink. Like this is, I think this is actually called neon, like it's neon pink. I have 21 grams left, meaning I used around 4 grams of this. So not very much of this at all. Don't know what I'm going to use this for, but I can use it for something. Something that's quite nice I noticed with the Flora and the Fable alongside the mohairs is that the meterage is quite similar. So I'll be able to use like these two in a project in the future and they'll be roughly about the same left-ish. So for all the totals together, for the main colour I used 226 grams of the Flora, 108 grams of the mohair, and then I used just in total mohair's main yarns and also just all the colours in general, all added up for the contrast colours. I used 93 grams in the whole of the contrast. So that all together came to 427 grams, which is pretty good. And that's also probably why it's such a light jumper as well. There's really not much weight going on here for this jumper. As I said, there are some things that I wish were a bit different, and part of me, a very, very small part of me that, you know, it's just yarn, you can re-knit it if you want to, wants to keep hold of the extra colours that I have in case I want to rip this out and make the bigger size. I say that with a slight chuckle because I don't see that happening because it took me so long to make this. But if it really, really, really bothers me, then I can always just unpick the ribbing at the bottom, bring it up, make it longer. I've got the main colour, I've got enough. So that might be something that I might do, and I will just deal with the width of it. But I think it sits nicely. I'm really happy with the colour choices I made. I really like the yarn choices. I really love the fabric it made, so I will definitely be using this colour I will definitely use this yarn combination again. So many people walk past this house. I think it's great. I'm really happy with it. It's definitely not a heavy sweater, which maybe is contributing to the fact that it's quite short, so it's not got much weight to pull it down, maybe. But I'm really happy with it. I'm so happy it's finished. It has meant as well that I did finish it in October, like the actual knitting part, apart from like the one last tubular cast off, but I don't care, I'm classifying it as October, so I also need to add this to my October video as well in regards to totals. But we're here for this jumper and it's done and I'm really happy with it. Let me know what you think of this one. This was a true labour of love. It's something that I cast on the 17th of May whilst I was in Norway visiting my fiance. I will now get to take this with me back to Norway this November for us to get married. So what a cool sweater this has become. As usual, I will link my Ravelry project below so you can see exactly the colour codes and everything on there and all the modifications that I may have made / links to the other people that influenced my decision on those. But yeah, it's finished. I finally get to wear it. It took like a week to dry, hence why I'm doing this a lot later. But I'm really happy with it and I really hope that it's going to serve me well as a lovely colourwork sweater. So I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you in the next one soon. Bye!